Osei Boamah was haunted by his father's anger and words of rejection. "You will never be welcome here again." His love for Efe had come at a cost greater than he had imagined. Efe, too, bore the weight of her decision. As the daughter of a respected Ewe farmer, she had defied tradition by loving Osei Boamah. Leaving her family and future behind, she was no longer defined by tribal ties, but by her desire to live authentically. They spoke little, their thoughts louder than words. Despite the solitude and uncertainty, Osei Boamah and Efe shared a quiet understanding. They were free but isolated, bound by love and courage as they ventured into a world that had no place for them yet. Their journey was just beginning, an uncharted path where love defied tradition. With limited supplies and no map, they quickly realized their unpreparedness for the harsh realities of survival. They camped near a stream one evening, and Efe voiced her doubts. "Where do we go now?" she asked softly. Osei Boamah, uncertain himself, promised, "Wherever we go, we'll be together." Despite his reassurance, the struggle for survival weighed heavily on them. They hunted, gathered, and made do with what little they found, but it wasn't enough. Efe's strength waned, her body unaccustomed to the wilderness. One morning, Osei Boamah woke to find her pale and feverish, her breathing shallow. Panic gripped him as he urgently tried to wake her. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Osei Boamah resolved to find help. Memories of his grandmother's stories about healing herbs filled his mind. Desperately, he gathered their scant belongings and ventured deeper into the forest, searching for a remedy to save Efe. Each step was driven by fear and love, as Osei Boamah fought against the unforgiving wilderness to protect the one person who had become his entire world. Osei Boamah searched the forest for hours. Eventually, he found a clearing with dark green herbs and purple flowers, the ones his grandmother had described as healing. Hope surged through him. Gathering the herbs, he returned to Efe, who was barely conscious with a burning fever. Osei Boamah boiled the leaves, creating a bitter remedy, which he carefully helped Efe drink. His hands trembled as he held her steady, praying for a miracle. Hours passed as he kept vigil by her side. As night fell, Efe stirred, whispering, "You found it. I didn't give up on you," Osei Boamah said, his voice thick with emotion. Over the following days, Efe's strength returned. Osei Boamah's dedication and love had saved her, reigniting their hope to survive and face the world together. Osei Boamah and Efe were constantly on the move, traveling through forests and plains, seeking shelter. The weather was their only constant companion, with hot days and cold nights. They relied on their wits, hunting and foraging for survival in a world with no place for them. Despite hardships, they grew stronger as a couple, supporting each other and finding comfort in their love. They shared dreams by campfires, feeling free from tribal expectations. However, their exile's reality set in. Cut off from friends, family, and tribe, they felt the emotional toll. Osei Boamah missed his father, and Efe ached for her parents, wondering if they'd forgive her. Their loneliness and fear grew as they faced rumors of warriors and hostile villages. The world outside was vast and treacherous, but they had each other, and that was their only solace. They eventually find a small neutral village far from their homes, untouched by Ashanti and Ewe animosities, and where their past identities no longer matter. Initially met with suspicion, the villagers welcomed them with food, shelter, and kindness, offering relief after their hardships. They earned the villagers' trust through Osei Boamah's hunting and Efe's farming skills. Over time, they are accepted into the community, free from the constraints of their tribe's histories. However, despite their new life, they carry the weight of exile and the struggles that come with it. In each other, they find a love that transcends tribal divisions, reminding themselves of their promise to face life together, regardless of the hardships. They choose to create a future defined by their own bond, not by the past. The village had a strong sense of community, focused on survival and improvement despite challenges. Osei Boamah and Ewe felt a sense of belonging, helping with farming, building, and trading. They began to rebuild their lives, dreaming of a future together. No one questioned Osei Boamah and Ewe about their past or judged them for their origins. For the first time in months, they felt at peace, free from their tribe's expectations. They adjusted to their new life with simple yet demanding tasks, feeling a sense of belonging and kindness from the villagers. However, they soon discovered that peace could be fleeting. Their past shadows loomed. Stories of their forbidden love spread, and nearby village elders learned of their presence. Despite their efforts to keep their love secret, the world they had fled from soon caught up with them. Despite the village's outward calm, Osei Boamah and Ewe soon noticed signs of unrest. Some villagers were wary of outsiders, particularly from different tribes. The older generation remembered past conflicts, while the younger, though more open-minded, still felt the weight of history. Initially, this wariness didn't seem to affect Osei Boamah and Ewe, but over time, small incidents chipped away at their peace. Villagers gave them cold stares, whispered, and avoided them. One evening, an elder approached Osei Boamah, acknowledging the heavy burden they carried. The elder explained that peace must be earned and advised them to prove their respect for the village's ways. Understanding this, Osei Boamah realized that acceptance would take patience and humility, and their past wouldn't vanish simply because they left their tribes behind. One morning, while Osei Boamah and Ewe worked in the fields, Ashanti warriors led by Osei Boamah's old friend Juma arrived, seeking Osei Boamah. Juma confronted Osei Boamah, demanding he face the consequences of abandoning his tribe. Osei Boamah stood firm, declaring his choice to live a life free from hate and division with Ewe. Ewe supported him, asserting their right to live their chosen life. Juma accused them of dishonoring the Ashanti people and warned of punishment. Despite the inevitable confrontation, Osei Boamah and Ewe remained resolute, committed to facing the consequences together. The men from his tribe wanted him to abandon Ewe and the life they had built. Osei Boamah knew this confrontation was inevitable, but it didn't make it easier. "I will not return with you," Osei Boamah said. "I will not live a life of hate and division. This is my life now, and I choose Ewe. You cannot change that." Despite Juma's warnings of regret, Osei Boamah and Ewe stood together, prepared to face whatever consequences awaited them. The village's tension peaked as Ashanti warriors demanded Osei Boamah's return. Unexpectedly, the once hesitant villagers, including the elders, began to defend Osei Boamah and Ewe. An elder voiced their support, stating that Osei Boamah and Ewe had brought only hard work and good faith. The villagers' united front and respect for Osei Boamah and Ewe outweighed the Ashanti men's anger. Juma reluctantly agreed to leave, warning that their defiance wouldn't be forgotten. Osei Boamah and Ewe stood together, knowing their future in the village was uncertain, but they had earned the villagers' respect and loyalty. As the sun set, they faced the difficult road ahead together. With the departure of the Ashanti warriors, Osei Boamah and Ewe faced the quiet aftermath. Though the threat of violence subsided, tension and whispers persisted. The village, while supportive, had emotional scars from their defiance. The atmosphere was mixed with acceptance and reservation. Despite relief from the warriors' retreat, Osei Boamah and Ewe knew they were still on borrowed time. The villagers' temporary acceptance didn't resolve the tribal conflict. Their love remained a source of division. The path ahead was challenging, and they couldn't shake the feeling that much work was needed to build their dreamed future. In the following weeks, Osei Boamah and Ewe struggled with the weight of their choices. While the village women were somewhat welcoming, the men, especially the elders, remained reluctant to accept the changes Osei Boamah and Ewe represented. The younger generation was more open-minded, but the elders feared the challenge to the old cultural divisions between the Ashanti and Ewe tribes. Days after the standoff between Osei Boamah and the warriors from his father's village, the elders call Osei Boamah and Ewe. The village elders stood before Osei Boamah and Ewe, the tension in the air palpable. They understood the hardships the young couple had faced, but they conveyed that the king had sent warriors to bring Osei Boamah back, a request they couldn't ignore. Osei Boamah felt conflicted, knowing they had built a life of peace in the village. He questioned why they must return. The elders explained that the king's demand couldn't be overlooked, but emphasized the importance of patience and strength. They advised Osei Boamah and Ewe to stay by each other's side, no matter what challenges lay ahead. Ewe held Osei Boamah's hand firmly, expressing their determination not to be separated. The elders acknowledged the power of their love and urged them to let it guide them through the trials. They were encouraged to return to their village, but never to lose sight of each other. Osei Boamah, with determination in his heart, agreed to go, vowing not to be broken. He declared that they would face whatever came together. Ewe smiled, reaffirming their commitment to remain together, always. As they embraced, ready to face the journey ahead, the resolve to stay united and overcome any obstacles became their guiding strength. Upon returning to their village, Osei Boamah and Ewe were met with an atmosphere thick with tension. Villagers looked at them strangely, and whispers filled the air as people saw them together. The once familiar faces now carried expressions of curiosity and suspicion, making the couple feel like outsiders in their own home. The murmurs and stares were a reminder of the deep-seated prejudices they still had to overcome. Osei Boamah and Ewe knew that proving their commitment to each other and to the village would be a long and challenging process. They continued to show patience and dedication, working tirelessly to rebuild trust and foster a sense of community. Though the road ahead was uncertain, they were determined to face it together, just as they always had. Osei Boamah noticed fewer villagers willing to speak to them, and the elders no longer smiled or waved. The community was more divided than ever, and Osei Boamah began to question their decision to stay. One evening, Osei Boamah expressed his frustration to Ewe, feeling the village turning against them. Ewe, firm in her resolve, reminded Osei Boamah that they chose this life for love and a belief in something better. She emphasized the power of love to make a difference and urged him to keep fighting despite the difficulties. Osei Boamah, filled with both admiration and doubt, realized they could forge a new path for themselves and others, even if peace seemed impossible. With Ewe by his side, he found hope in the possibility of creating a world free from hatred. The village elders, who had been observing Osei Boamah and Ewe, called a meeting to discuss their future. The village square filled with tension as the elders and younger villagers supporting Osei Boamah and Ewe gathered. The elder who had warned Osei Boamah about defying tradition rose to speak, acknowledging the divisions between the Ashanti and Ewe and the pain it caused. He praised Osei Boamah and Ewe for demonstrating the power of love to overcome these boundaries. The elder encouraged embracing change and building a better future together. He announced that Osei Boamah and Ewe would remain in the village as family, and the long journey toward healing would begin. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, lifting Osei Boamah's doubts. It was a step toward unity, peace, and a future where love could overcome hate. In the days and weeks that followed, the village slowly began to change. There were still those who held on to the old ways, who couldn't easily let go of the past. But Osei Boamah and Ewe's presence in the village, their unwavering commitment to each other, became a symbol of hope. The young people, those who had grown up with less animosity and more openness, began to look at Osei Boamah and Ewe differently. Slowly, their once hidden love became a catalyst for change. The elders too began to open their hearts. While the scars of history were not easily healed, they recognized that they could not stand in the way of progress. And so Osei Boamah and Ewe began to teach the village the lessons they had learned through their own struggles: the value of forgiveness, the power of unity, and the strength found in love that transcends boundaries. The journey was far from over. There would be many more challenges ahead, many more obstacles to overcome. But for the first time, Osei Boamah and Ewe were not alone. They had the support of the village, and together they would forge a new path, one where love was the guiding force, and where peace could finally take root. The days following the elders' decision were filled with cautious optimism. Osei Boamah and Ewe, once strangers in their own village, were now accepted as part of the community. Though the tension hadn't completely dissipated, the seeds of change were planted. Osei Boamah and Ewe worked hard, helping rebuild homes, tend crops, and contribute to communal tasks. The villagers slowly saw that Osei Boamah and Ewe weren't just defying tradition, they were meaningfully contributing. The cautious village elders began to engage more with them, recognizing the sincerity of their actions and the need for the community to embrace change. As the village prepared for the harvest festival, anticipation filled the air. This year's festival was especially significant, as it marked the first since Osei Boamah and Ewe's acceptance. The villagers, including Osei Boamah and Ewe, decorated the square with bright fabrics and woven baskets, while children collected flowers for garlands. During the festival, Osei Boamah and Ewe participated in traditional dances, moving as equals within the community. As the night progressed, the village elders and the leader of the Ashanti tribe addressed the crowd, emphasizing unity and the importance of moving forward as one people. The elder praised Osei Boamah and Ewe for demonstrating that love can overcome old divisions and encouraged the village to embrace change. The villagers erupted into applause, recognizing Osei Boamah and Ewe's impact on the community. This moment of celebration and unity signified a step toward a future where love could conquer hatred and the village could heal and grow together. As the village elders began to engage with them more frequently, recognizing the sincerity in Osei Boamah and Ewe's actions, it became clear that the world was changing, and the community was changing with it. In the following months, the village began to heal from its divisions. Inspired by Osei Boamah and Ewe's love and bravery, the younger generation challenged old ways, seeing each other as fellow human beings. Osei Boamah and Ewe continued to work side by side, contributing to the village and earning love and respect. Though not seeking special treatment, they became symbols of hope. The world wasn't perfect, with the moments of tension and hesitation, but Osei Boamah and Ewe knew change was a slow process. They had changed their lives and those of the people around them. Several years later, Osei Boamah and Ewe's children grew up in a village transformed by love and unity. The younger generation, free from old prejudices, thrived together. One day, as Osei Boamah and Ewe watched their children play, they reflected on their journey. Their once forbidden love had become a catalyst for a new way of life. Ewe acknowledged their accomplishment, and Osei Boamah emphasized that it was a collective effort. As the sun set, they realized their love had transformed not only their lives but the world around them, creating a future shaped by love, unity, and understanding. Thanks for watching. We appreciate your presence. Please let us know your thoughts on this story in the comment section. Please help us grow by subscribing to our channel and inviting your friends and family to join us. Until next time, bye.